Hammers on a busy day in the Premier League. 7 more games still to come today. Amongst them, Arsenal host Brentford, who they lost to, let's not forget, on the opening day of the season. Club world champions Chelsea go to Crystal Palace in a London derby. Liverpool could go to within 6 points of Manchester City if they beat Norwich. That's our feature game in Goal Rush. Frank Lampard's Everton go to Southampton. And the late game sees leaders Manchester City up against Tottenham. So West Ham miss out on the chance to get into the top 4. They stay 5th, a point behind Manchester United, but they played a game more than them. Arsenal in 6th have got 4 games in hand on the Hammers and are only 3 points behind the East London side. Newcastle stay 17th. They move to 22 points, 5 clear of the bottom 3, who all played today. They played the same number of games as Norwich, just below them, but with a superior goal difference. They played 1 more than Watford, who was 7 adrift, and played 3 more than bottom club Burnley, who are now 8 points from safety. So in the end, there was nothing to separate top 4 chasers West Ham and 4th bottom Newcastle. Craig Dawson putting the Hammers in front before Joe Willock's improvised finish put the visitors back on level terms. West Ham United and Newcastle draw 1 apiece at the London Stadium. It's a setback to the Hammers' top 4 hopes as Newcastle go 5 clear of the relegation zone. It was a hard-fought contest, as you can see there in the end. Newcastle just about shading it in terms of attempts on goal, of shots on target and possession of the ball. Well, of course, it was Craig Dawson's goal that gave West Ham the lead just before half-time, and it was arguably against the run of play, Michael.
Yeah, it was. You know, Newcastle started quite well, actually. In fact, they shaded the game overall, and we can quite clearly see here Dawson's being marked by Murphy, and he just gets a little shove on him, gets about a metre space, and that's what does it for him. And we all know what Dawson's like in terms of attacking the ball. He's probably one of the best defenders in the league from set pieces. He scores a lot of headers. He doesn't play so often, but when he does, he's always a threat from set pieces. He shoves his man off, wriggles through a little gap, and attacks the ball better than anyone else, Denver.
Yeah, and it looks like Newcastle had a tactic to mark him because he's the only marked players. Like we can see the line of defenders, and we can see Murphy, who's attached directly to Dawson, but he managed to just run off him.
Could you argue that goal came against the run of play at the time?
I think so, yeah. I mean, overall, I think, like, for the first 5-10 minutes, I thought Newcastle were much better than West Ham. Then it sort of levelled out a little bit. But, you know, overall, your eyes tell you that I think Newcastle deserved it. And then you see the stats, and they're slightly ahead on all the stats as well. So I think they more than deserved their point and would have been bitterly disappointed to go in at half-time 1-0 behind. So good job they scored just on the stroke of half-time.
Which they did through Joe Willock, which is a pretty well-worked goal from his perspective.
It looks like a ʟɪᴛ goal, you know? you see 10% chances of scoring, and you just go for it because you believed, and he believed more than any other player in this situation. He put his body there, and he managed to do something that is almost impossible.
Just look at Ryan Fraser where he starts here. You'd never, ever think he was going to do an overlap from there. You'd think normally of a full-back doing an overlap, but he spots it early on, and yeah, he makes a great run, and that's what really creates the goal. That's what, you know, sorts it out. And, yeah, he knocks a decent ball in as well. You've got to blame Declan Rice, as we can quite clearly see the ball is over. But Declan Rice's header was awful, really. But Willock was there to pounce, and pounce he did, off the post, just over the line, and as I say, nothing more than Newcastle deserved.
Denver, you rather modestly claimed it to be a bar finish, but how hard is that kind of finish?
It's probably one of the hardest because, first of all, you get in there, you don't even know what's going to happen. And luckily, the defender couldn't do anything but clearing the ball. But he thought that just protecting the ball, we can see it, he just protect the ball and keep the defender behind him. But he managed to just slide his leg there and just get a touch on it.
But for some people, when you don't know what's going to happen, it actually makes it easier to finish. If you've got time, you understand it, then you'd think it's going to be easier. But sometimes when a chance comes to you so quickly, you work on instinct, and it can be a little bit easier. But no, it was a good finish. It wasn't an easy finish, and it was a good one. But as I say, Newcastle deserved the 1-1 at half-time.
OK, well, let's hear from the man who finished it off. Here's Joe Willock.
I'm here with Joe. Joe, a point on the road against a top 4 contenders side, that's a very important point, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. You know, we had 2 important players that got injured, unfortunately, and We had to come here and stick to our task, and everyone had to be at it to come away with a point today.
Yeah, a test of resilience, I think, what the commentary team was saying today.
Yeah, of course. I feel like to be honest with you, I feel like we brought our game plan to them. I thought we was very dominant in the first half and in the second half at some bits, and they scored off a free kick, and I feel like it shows how far we've come, you know, as a group, and how much the manager's installed into us.
That's right, you responded just before half-time. It was a clever little touch in the box there, just crept over the line.
Yeah, when I saw it go over the line, I was so delighted, you know. It's been a long time coming. And I'm happy to score and help the team.
Was that a concern? We were talking beforehand, you were scoring for fun at the end of last season. You've had to wait this season.
Yeah, I mean, that's how football is, you know. It never goes how you always want it to go, you know, but I've just stuck to my task, and I've tried to just take on board what the manager wants me to do, and I'm happy it come today, and hopefully it continues.
Yeah, it's a very different mood. I mean, results obviously are, but you're all responding to Eddie Howe.
He's a brilliant manager, and not only a brilliant manager, a brilliant person, you know. He's a manager that we all trust, and we're all buying into what he wants to do, a guy that I have a close relationship with, and I'm really happy he's here, and I'm really happy how far he's taken us, and long may it continue.
Well, he's one of the players who's keeping new signing Bruno Guimaraes out of the starting 11 for Newcastle, and a goal will help his cause to continue to do that.
Absolutely. You know, in football, you score, you stay on the team sheet, so I'm happy for him. He had a good game, and that goal that came from nowhere gave Newcastle a vital point.
12 points from 16 now for Newcastle United. Can you see the belief growing amongst the players right now?
Completely. You know, when you're one of those bottom teams and you win one game, it's unbelievable. You know, you're happy about it. But they've won 3 in a row, and winning 3 in a row, you can see only the top team doing this, and then getting a point in West Ham. They must be buzzing.
Yeah. For West Ham's top 4 hopes, how significant a blow is that?
Yeah, a point doesn't do much good, does it? You've got Arsenal sat behind them that we're going to watch shortly as well. With a few games in hand on them, they really needed to put themselves into 4th place, because they're playing more games than anybody else as well in and around them. So it doesn't do much for them. They've just stumbled. I watched them against Leicester the other day. They were awful for the second half, although Leicester did play well. And they were very quiet today against a team that you'd expect them to be on the front foot and putting pressure on. But Newcastle, as I say, deserved it.
And with that in mind, they've got Wolves at home and Liverpool away in the next 2. I mean, they are particularly challenging, aren't they? Those
Yeah,
two
and
fixtures.
the worst thing about West Ham is their squad. I mean, David Moyes doesn't rotate that much. Yes, there were 2 or 3 changes today, but it was only because they were enforced on him. He doesn't, you know, he goes with the same team all the time. He's played strong teams in Europe. He's played strong teams in the FA Cup as well. So these players don't get much of a rest, and if ever they're going to crack, it's going to be towards the end of the season with the players tiring.
OK.